Naum stood where the Black Drin River exhaled, its cold waters rushing past Vranishta with a determination that mirrored his own restlessness. At 18, he felt the pull of the current, a force that had shaped the valley for millennia. To the west, the Jablanica Mountains rose like granite giants, their peaks still holding the ghosts of winter's snow. Here, the air was different. It tasted of mountain pine and the damp, fertile promise of the riverbank. A shadow fell across the grass as Bardil arrived, his boots crunching on the river pebbles. They had grown up in the same narrow streets, sons of a village where Macedonian and Albanian neighbors lived in a delicate, long-practiced harmony. "The water never stays," Bardil remarked, his voice steady against the roar of the river. They were at a crossroads, balanced between the quiet life of Vranishta and the loud, neon-lit futures promised by universities in the capital or even further across the borders. They walked back toward the village center, where the architecture told the story of an empire long dissolved. Bardil paused by a stone wall that bore the hallmarks of Ottoman masonry, thick, enduring, and weathered by centuries of Balkan sun. These stones had seen the transition from caravans to cars, and from the isolation of the rural past to the globalized present. To Bardil, every carved lintel was a reminder that they were merely the latest stewards of an ancient narrative. From the edge of the village, Naum looked south toward the horizon, where the lights of Struga and the vast expanse of Lake Ohrid shimmered. Vranishta remained a quiet hub, a place of retreat, while the world nearby pulsed with the frantic energy of summer tourists. It was a strange liminality. They were close enough to hear the music of the city, yet far enough to remain tethered to the slow, rhythmic pulse of the rural earth. Near the village square, they met Iljaz, an elder whose presence seemed woven into the very fabric of the place. He had recently returned from decades in Western Europe, part of the vast diaspora that sustained the village's economy. Iljaz sat on a wooden bench, his eyes reflecting a lifetime of gurbet, the bittersweet longing of those who work abroad to build grand houses back home. Naum sat beside him, feeling the weight of the man's silent stories. Iljaz spoke of the new villas rising among the old stone cottages, financed by Swiss francs and German marks. He looked at Bardil, who joined them, and spoke of the cost of such progress. "The houses are larger now," Iljaz said softly, "but the hearths are often cold until the summer holidays. We trade our presence for our prosperity." Bardil listened, realizing that the village's survival was a complex dance between those who stayed and those who left. Later, Naum and Bardil began to climb the lower slopes of the Jablanica range. The path was a mosaic of wildflower and flint. They spoke in a blend of their languages, the words for mountain, friend, and future echoing off the slopes. In Vranishta, coexistence wasn't a political statement. It was the shared struggle against the steepness of the climb and the shared celebration of the view from the top. Bardil stopped at a high ridge, looking back at the Black Drin as it carved its way toward the Adriatic. He thought of the village's history, how it had survived wars and shifting borders by being like the river, flexible yet persistent. He realized that his identity wasn't a single thread, but a weave of Albanian heritage and the shared Balkan soil that supported them both. Naum picked up a small, smooth stone from the mountain path and rolled it in his palm. He felt the gravity of home, a force as real as the earth's pull. He knew he would likely go to the city for his studies, joining the ranks of the young who sought broader horizons. But the fear of losing himself was gone. He understood now that he was not a leaf being blown away, but a seed carrying the essence of Vranishta to wherever it might land. As the sun dipped behind the Jablanica peaks, painting the valley in shades of violet and gold, Naum and Bardil descended toward the village lights. The river continued its eternal rush, and the stone walls of Vranishta stood firm. They walked together, two young men of different roots but the same soil, ready to face a world that was changing, yet anchored by the enduring spirit of the land they called home.